Listen here, girl. I know you think it's a game, but it is absolutely not. Okay, this is the energy supplement from Just Move Supplements. That's right. It's damn near all gone, girl, and that's because I had to get that energy up so I can complete the workout, so I can give y'all this bottle, this transformation, get into it. Okay, and I'm done working out now, so that's why we're moving on to the protein shakes. Oh yes, it's already in there, girl. It's already made right here. This is the mixture of the banana pudding, the chocolate cake, and the buttercream cupcake. And you really want to be fancy, you can go ahead and add that blueberry muffin if that's what you want to do, girl. But for me, it's these three right here. Okay, you put that with some almond milk, you mix it all up in honey. Okay, your muscles have gained life, new energy, agility. Get into it, okay? Just Move Supplements. Thank you very much. Hold up, Chief. Okay, don't forget about that TLC NutriBurst to get that multivitamin popping, because we all need a little extra. And child, if you want that sea moss that go down smooth, don't come up rough, okay? Get into the TLC Nautica sea moss. Yes, get that from me. And child, if your stomach hurt and you need to move some things around so you can be free, okay, go ahead and get that ISO tea down below in the description box. Get it all from me. Come on in, come on in, come on in, not come on in, not come. Sorry, y'all know I'm weird, whatever.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondi Blue. So let's go ahead. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondi Blue. Okay, follow me on Instagram and let's get into the video, right?
Yo. What's going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. Listen, okay, let me title the song right. Okay, it was Marvin Sapp. Never could have made it. But what I really wanted to say was Donnie McClurkin. We fall down. Because I did when I was doing that step. I ain't fall, I'm just playing, but I'm about to fall, child. But we get up. We fall down sometime, but you get back up again. What's going on? Okay, you know, I gotta warm it up. Get back up again. Come on, y'all, the girlfriends episode. Get back up again. Get back up again. Okay, child, no, listen, this is 3 different shows right here. This is Family or Fiance, this is Ready to Love, and this is Love and Marriage Huntsville. So if you are new, then you don't know how we do this on Sundays. This is weekends on with me, your girl Bondi Blue. Okay, and we're gonna talk about these shows. All right, but once we get to Love and Marriage Huntsville, y'all are only going to get a little bit of the review. And then you're going to have to become a Patreon or a member, okay? And then you can go ahead and get yourself, into the live where I really and truly get into it. And sometimes we actually like kind of watch the episodes together, and I stop and give commentary as we go, which is what we will be doing once we are finished with this live, okay? So yes, I did warm it up. Get back up again. We got to warm it up. Okay, I didn't know if y'all was ready. I had to warm it up. What's up, y'all? How we doing? Okay, are we good? Are we doing well? Okay, babe, can you do me a favor? Can you turn that light on for me? Okay, I need a little bit more light up in here. Okay, give me the green light. Give me just one time. And ready to go right now. That's good. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and do what we always do, which is start off with Family or Fiance. But before we get into that, whoa, there's a super chat already. Hey, Jonah, thank you so much for the super chat. Hey, Bondi, I just watched your marriage boot camp review, and I think that Tamar should do the documentary about Black women on reality TV. Me too. I wonder if this is something that I can like put in my sister's ear. Cause like it's the type of stuff my sister does. She does documentary. Like she knows the people to do stuff like that. But I don't know if she would, want to tell that story. You know what I'm saying? She is not the messy type. Like, and this stuff is messy. But I feel like there's something to be said for the way the reality show culture has affected a whole generation of young people. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but let's go ahead Do a little roll call right quick. Okay. Hey, Quasia. I see you was first, girl. Hey. Listen, we appreciate people that show up early. We appreciate you. Hey, Saki. Thank you for coming into Mod. Thank you, Tina, for coming into Mod. Hey, Tyree. What's going on? Hey, Summer. Pretty Mrs. G. Visual Taste. Hey, Tay. Thank you for coming in to moderate. Thank you, baby. Brittany Young, what's going on, baby? Hey, baby hustler. Sharella, Chanel, Janae, California Cutie, Niecy D, Wawa, Jazzy, Jazz, Shannon, Ebony, Jam, D Reed. Hey, Chocolate Padilla. Okay, I said hey to Summer already, didn't I? Hey, Summer. Linda, Hannah, Toy. Hey now. Love you. Keep up the wonderful work. We appreciate you for all you do. Love, love, always in Philly. Oh, thank you. Love right back to you. Hey, LaShawn, Ashley Price. Hey, Purely Terry. Our Marie, what's going on? Is that Liberic? That is not Liberic, girl. Child, Robin Mallet, okay, Mallet, okay, however you pronounce it, Mallet, okay. Child, that's Carrington. That is Carrington, okay. It look like Liberic East not. Okay, listen. Hey, Raymond Ricardo. S. Kimple, listen, showing y'all a little love this morning before we get into it. Hey, Shell. Okay, listen. I see all y'all in the chat. I appreciate y'all. Listen, I love y'all so much for coming through. Y'all know, okay, giving y'all a little time to come into the room while saying hey to people. Jasmine, okay, Zantois, Charmed Locks, Sam J, thank you for coming through. Okay, Amani Brown, Mina, Cassandra's World. Listen, I love to see y'all. Miss Press, go on now. Jasmine, Alicia, A-Love, Janae. All right, Latasha, Tanika, Roxanne Pie, Tawanza, Dion, Mina. All right, hey, Raphael, what's going on, love? Britt Mar, Kenzie, listen. All right. So hey y'all, listen, y'all, more y'all are coming in. Hey now. But we're gonna go ahead and get into it. All right, y'all. Market, we're entering into the situation. Family or Fiance was very interesting this past episode. It was interracial. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, here we go. Here we go with the racism. Here we go. You know, that's what I felt. And then as soon as we heard something from the sister, Carlos' sister, Lori, okay, over here somewhere, Lori, over here somewhere, we heard from her that her brother was a scammer. And I was automatically like, oh, wait, this has made a turn. This isn't what I thought it was going to be. And then it turned out to be exactly what I thought it was going to be. And I was just like, oh, word, you were right anyway. That's disappointing. So, okay, Ivy and Carlos, they were matched online, okay? Some type of match service. You answer some questions and boom, bow, pow, we give you a mate. All right. She discusses how her husband passed away. That was, a hard thing for her to get over. And it's honestly like a worry in her family that she is fully healed before she has decided to move on into a relationship with Carlos, okay? It took a lot for her to get to a place of even wanting to marry anyone else. But she said she looked into Carlos' eyes and saw magic. I say magic. Oh, that make me want to listen to Amel Larue today. Amel Larue has a song called Magic. That magic. And I got to have it. Magic. Magic. Look, if y'all know about that Amel Larue, comment down below. Babe, we have got to go to a record store so I can get some Amel Larue on on record, on vinyl. Thank you. So yeah, y'all, moving on from there. Carlos' first wife cheated on him for 5 of the 8 years of their marriage. So yeah, he has some trust issues. He lost his shit because her friends planned a weekend bachelorette party. And he kept saying it wasn't fair, but it wasn't about it being fair. It was about him feeling like he could not trust her because the previous person that he was with has now, traumatized him. And he really needs to deal with that first. And I think therapy. I think Sir needs therapy. I think he needs to deal with that because the things we saw throughout the episode made me feel like he still isn't over that. and it's scary for you to go from calm to over a simple conversation. I appreciate how strong the Black women were despite her being with a white man. Wash hands, wash hands, wash hands. Listen, we're going to get into it because there were so many things that I noticed about the people on this show that I either liked or didn't like, but we're going to get into it. Okay. So Carlos' sister, nephew, and best friend are coming for him. We didn't hear a lot from anybody but his sister Lori, okay, who said that he's always on some bullshit and she's worried that Ivy doesn't know what she's getting into by wanting to marry Carlos. Why do you want another child? That's the way she explained Carlos. I was like, oh shit, Carlos must be on some bullshit, right? That's what we assume when someone's sister has all the apprehension in the world, more so than the people who don't even know him. Okay. So yeah, we were all, wait a minute, this is going to be different. All right. Ivy's aunt and two best friends come for her. I forgot what the aunt's name was, but the best friends are on the outside. Okay. The one right here, this is Stephanie. This is Stephanie. This is Tatiana. This is Tatiana. I forgot what the auntie's name is. We didn't really hear that much from her in the edit of the show. Okay. Babe, can you do me a favor? Pass me that napkin and put it over my coffee cup. There's a fly. Child, I left the door open for too long yesterday, and it's just been like, what the fuck? So yes, thank you. Ivy's aunt and two best friends are coming on her behalf. They want to know if Carlos can keep up with the great Ivy. Now, at this point, I was a little annoyed, you know what I'm saying? Because I hate when people big their family members up like that, as if whoever they're going to be with just isn't going to be enough regardless. But that's not where they were coming from. That's not where they were coming from at all. Like, as soon as they walked through the door and it was like, my key, da, da, you know what I'm saying? Doing that type of shit. I was like, oh, these are people I would like. Because I love when women have the ability to be adults, to express themselves and articulate themselves very well without being overly emotional, but still getting their point across, and also being able to not take themselves in life so seriously as to be able to have moments where they are like little girls together. I cherish that type of interaction amongst women, specifically Black women. And I have continuously been seeing I don't know, just something that keeps bringing me back to whenever there's a group of Black women coming together, how strong the impact seems to be. And I just feel like that's something I've really been noticing in theme all over the place. You know what I'm saying? And I really noticed it when they walked through the door. When they walked through the door, I was like, I don't know what type of practical magic witchy shit I'm picking up on, but their energy is, I don't even know how to express it. Like, it's because you don't want to auntie people as to take away their womanhood or something, or their, they're the sexual part of them. I feel like a lot of the time people mammy the fuck out of Black women because we come into a room and it seemingly can fix everybody's problems. So people then look at us like we're some omnipotent mammy character. And I want to be clear not to say that that's what I'm seeing, but there is some type of understanding that they were sharing amongst themselves, and the way that they were handling the things that were happening with Carlos and his sister Lori right here. Yeah, it was definitely sister magic. Absolutely. I don't even want to call it I don't want to, do the Black girl magic. No, sister magic. It was something about the way they were and especially with their friendship to Ivy, and the way Ivy's personality is, the way their personalities are. Yes, it was everything. I found it I don't know, something about it lifted me. I don't know what that was about, but it's something about their whole little energy and the way they communicated, the way they dealt with the issues in uncomfortable moments. It was just wow. Those are the type of women that you want to be like. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Carlos' sister is absolutely a Karen, and she's the reason why I feel like all white people in this country have some form of racism within them. Even if they don't act on it, because a lot of them adopt this I don't see color thing, because that was a way of saying, I'm not like the crazy white people that are trying to lynch you from trees. I don't care about that. No, but it's also a way to turn a blind eye to what happens to us, which was also a problem when people were lynching us up from trees. All of the people around that stood there and did nothing, that stood there and low-key rejoiced in it. They may not have done it themselves, but they bought tickets to the fair. Okay. So I feel like there is a long-standing toxicity behind the statement, I don't see color. Please, no, not even Mexican. They're Hispanic. I don't even know what you want, but they're Hispanic. Okay. And it doesn't matter, because I feel like people with that proximity to whiteness, they try to figure out ways to make themselves feel superior to everybody. Like, so that, that's what she's on. I'm going to find a way to make myself superior in any way, shape, or form because I feel small, because I can't even go anywhere without a fucking dog in my lap. Okay, smelling like a damn puppy all day because you holding that damn dog in your lap like a baby. Your son is right here. Your son is right here. Yeah, her energy was just, ooh, very, very manic, very toxic. And I feel like at the beginning, everybody was listening to what she had to say, but even before it was really broke down, they started to see it. They started to see it. Yeah, I worked in a public school system. Yeah, we're going to get into it. But that definitely was the moment where I was so glad that those four sisters, including Ivy, was like tapping out. That's it. Not doing it. But let's get into the notes. All right. So Lori calls him a scammer, which is a huge red flag to Stephanie and, everybody else really, but Stephanie really perceived that as a red flag for his own sister to refer to him as a scammer. So when they separate, Carlos explains that he lived on the street for 6 months and he worked hard to get out of poverty. Y'all, this is the moment where I started to realize the sister is on some form of bullshit. Because I could not imagine. When I tell y'all I cannot imagine. Even though y'all, there are people in my family, when I tell y'all they work on my fucking nerves and I might be bordering on stabbing them if they was in my house for an extended period of time, but I would deal with that before I let them live on the street. Do you hear me? I would be uncomfortable in my own house for a certain period of time, not forever, but definitely for 6 months before I let my fucking brother, any one of my sisters, my nephews, my nieces, my cousins, okay? Some of y'all, my little cousins, y'all can't come stay by me. Just know that, okay? I know what some of y'all be into. You cannot come over here, okay? But there are other ones of y'all that I know for a fact. I'm just saying you got to protect your shit sometimes. But I'm just saying there is nobody that I love like that in my family that I would allow to live on the fucking street. If I so-called was always there to save them when they were going through something. That doesn't even make any sense to me. So when he said that he lived on the street for 6 months and he got his sister claiming that she's always been there for him, catching him when he fell and all of that shit, I was like, she lying about something. Something ain't right. So Ivy talks to his family about how they actually split the bills. Because she makes more money than him, she pays more of the bills. He pays the electric, gas, and water. And, he pays a portion of the bills. He just pays the portion he can afford to pay, and she pays the portion that she can afford to pay. Okay. For some people, that makes sense. I personally felt like that wasn't none of their fucking business. I understand that on the show, you have to explain finances and 5-year plans and all of that. But some of this shit, we adults. If Ivy is comfortable with being with a man that isn't making as much money as she is, and she's decided that the divvying of the bills is good enough for her, this does not need to be discussed amongst anybody else as far as I was concerned. I was just kind of like, the fuck? Especially because Lori was like, oh, you pay all the bills. And Ivy straight faced the fuck out of her like, he also pays the water, the electric, and the gas. Child, I don't know if y'all know, but depending on where you live, one of those bills is extremely high and one of those bills is extremely cheap. Well, around where I'm from, the water and the gas is cheap, but that electricity bill is a bitch, okay? Anyway, so Moving on from there, Lori is worried about where Carlos will end up if something happens to Ivy. Like, oh, he's going to get accustomed to living with you. Something happens to you, and then he's going to try to come and live with me. Like, it's always her from the standpoint of, I'm going to have to do this. I might have to. I might have. Girl, ain't nobody. This is not about you. This is not about you. This man is grown. This man is grown and he's here to marry somebody. This is not about him asking you for shit. And she's talking like he is asking her for something right now. I was like, I don't understand. Okay. I don't understand where she was coming from. Then they discussed the issue that Ivy has with Lori. Apparently, Lori decided one day when they were out for ice cream that she was going to touch, and y'all know what that means, pat Ivy's daughter on the head. And she needed to explain to her, please do not pet my daughter. Do not touch her hair. It's really a racial thing when you do that. And she's like, you making it racial. Well, it is, sweetheart. It is, sweetheart. Let me explain to you. Do white people or Asian people get patted on the fucking head all the time? Oh my God. Your hair is like, what is that? Nobody does that to y'all. People do that to us. That is our experience. This is the problem with you not seeing color, is that when somebody is telling you that this is our experience, this is offensive to us. We don't need you to tell us how you grew up around black people and your first love was black and you were fully integrated into the black community and nobody ever felt away when you touched their hair. Ma'am, let me explain something to you. Times have changed, and black people used to let white people and what they presumed as Latino or Hispanic people get away with a lot more shit than we are these days. We are not in that same place anymore. No, we're not allowing you to touch us like pets. We're not allowing you to act as if you've never seen thick, kinky hair before. And if you haven't, you don't walk up to somebody and just invade their space and touch them. The fuck is wrong with you? I don't care if she's a child or not. Don't nobody know you like that for you to physically think it's okay for you to extend your dirty ass hand and put it in their head. Something is wrong with you. And people have done that. I've been done that by black women that had to check the fuck out of somebody, and they had the audacity to feel offended when I moved and said, don't touch my hair. No, you shouldn't have extended your hand to touch me. Don't feel played. Just because I am not allowing you to comfortably pet me like a fucking dog. Like, yes, black adjacent, meaning people who are probably biracial, marry white men and no longer, I guess, categorize themselves as black until we're talking about shows on fucking BET. Girl, anyway, I'm sorry. That was my life. But the point still remains, like, personal space, petting people, it's offensive. It's offensive. Stop it. And if somebody tells you that it's offensive, don't argue them down about it. Like, real nigga shit. Like, I need to understand that my damn self when it comes to certain things. I will see things a certain way. And because I see them a certain way, I'll argue you down about the standpoint because I feel like I actually am thinking from your standpoint as well. But the truth of the matter is I never really can because I can't put myself in anybody else's shoes exactly. Okay? So just like I have to learn this, a lesson everybody needs to learn. You cannot tell somebody if they're offended or not. You cannot tell somebody what they're offended by. And to be honest, you must be completely blind to black culture because we've been writing songs and telling motherfuckers for years to stop touching our hair. Like, it is very much a thing for y'all to stop touching our hair. Like, what are you talking about? Telling me about all the black people that you grew up with and then gonna throw it out there that you was in the public school system. Man, what does that mean? What does that mean, ma'am? To me, it seems as if you are very conscious of the fact that you've been around black people. So why are you trying to now act as if you don't see color? When them ladies tried to talk to her at the dinner table, y'all, I really love the conversation because Stephanie's tone was so soft. Okay, it was so soft. And Stephanie said, I need you to listen differently. That's what she said. I need you to listen differently. Okay? Because you're not really hearing what we're saying. When you tell someone that you don't see their blackness, it is you telling them you don't see them. And Lori was so fine with telling Ivy, well, I just don't see you then. And it's like, okay, well, I guess we just don't see each other, but we see each other. And then you don't want to be called racist, but you're actively telling somebody that you refuse to see them because you don't want to admit that you're acting like a racist. And it's because you live in a system that allows you to do these things to people. So you don't even realize what you're doing. So when you're corrected, take the correction. Don't feel like somebody's attacking you. And that's why I'm so bothered by all of this white fragility and us having to worry about you and your kids feeling guilt about what happens to us. But we don't get to feel a way about what happens to us, about what you do to us. Y'all, that is so similar to what I feel like I'm noticing in the manosphere. I've been seeing a lot online, Kevin Samuels and all of these men, even Martell on last night's episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville repeats these same sentiments that sound like you want women to stay in their place beneath you, even though that is not where they should be. Not just because you decided that. And see, it comes to me from a space of really like being mad. Like, what are you this mad about? It's because you have some type of hatred. You have some type of hatred towards women. Just like Lori has some type of hatred toward Black people. Like, I'm sorry, but I can't understand why you would want to violently ignore when someone is telling you what you are doing is bothersome. Like, no, I'm not doing this with y'all. You may not like being called misogynistic, you're misogynistic. You may not like being called racist, but you're racist. If you don't want to be called that, don't be that. If you don't want people to perceive you as that, don't be that. If you don't want people to talk about you as being that, don't be that. But stop expecting people to curtail the way they express how you are showing up to them. Like, stop it. That was a fucking theme on both of these episodes. I'm going to do what I want to do to you. And then you have to act as if I'm not doing anything to you when I, you know what I'm saying? You have to sit up there and act as if, you know, I did absolutely nothing to you when you absolutely did. It's ridiculous. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. I went off on a tangent. Lori continuing to say that they were not raised to see, you know, raised to see color. You know, she wants to be seen as just Lori, not white or Hispanic. And, you know, Ivy explains being Black, you can't just decide to take your Blackness off one day like you decide to take your Hispanicness off whenever you feel like it. And put it back on whenever it suits you. Okay. Anyway, okay, that's why we like the clock when y'all call yourselves anything other than being white, when visibly you are white. That's why we like to call y'all out for that, because y'all like to do that going back and forth with the oppression Olympic shit. Anyway, so when it pertains to Stephanie asking about the scamming situation, he says, I don't even talk to my sister, so I don't know why she would even say that. Tatiana asked him about why he got so upset about the 3-day bachelorette party weekend and he lost his cool. I should be able to express how I feel. Yeah, but once you've expressed how you feel and your partner has expressed that they're still going to do this, you just have to make a decision. Is it a big enough deal for you to cause issue in your relationship? Because you know it's coming from a place of you not trusting her because of what happened in your previous relationship. So don't get upset when we ask you about it, because it's something that needs to be worked on and checked. And you want us to not bring it up because it's bothersome for you. And that's not how any of this works. Y'all just don't like when people tell the truth. I think a lot of that, I think people don't be liking me all the time, telling too much of the goddamn truth. So moving on from there. At dinner, they discuss this not seeing color situation. I kind of ran through that already, y'all. But they switched the topic back to Carlos, and Carlos really did admit that he knows he has this trust issue that he needs to work on, which was a huge step. You know what I'm saying? And everybody appreciated that. Tatiana, Stephanie, everybody appreciated that, except for his crazy ass sister that wanted to bring up how he would put hair in his food so that, you know, people, you know, he wouldn't have to pay for his meal. He'll do that type of scamming. And I'm just kind of like, girl, that little nickel and diamond ass shit, if that man not still doing that, what are we talking about? And didn't he say that he was homeless living out of his fucking car? You think I'm not about to use every trick at my disposal when I'm living in my car? Like, miss me. Lori explains to the sisters when Ivy and Carlos go to talk to Tracy, they're like having these scenes happen simultaneously. And Lori explains that she's the matriarch and she's always bailed Carlos out. And they explain that she just needs to stop taking responsibility for his life choices. And she says that, you know, it's her choice to help him. So if she chooses to do that, that's on her. But then she still faults him for asking for help, which is crazy. Which is when the sisters start to realize that she gets some type of superiority from making Carlos seem less than. Oh, he needs to depend on me so I can make myself. I'm the matriarch. I'm the more solid one. I have my stuff together. Ma'am, put the dog down. Put the dog down and then come talk to me. You are obviously unstable. And just because you aren't around that many people, because I feel like sometimes people are really crazy, but nobody knows it because they don't really have a lot of people around them to interact with, so you can really know what it is. But Lori's crazy. Lori's crazy. I don't know what happened in their household growing up, but something's wrong with Lori. His sister definitely has issues with Black folk, especially Black women. She wore that attack face that white women use when Black women don't play nice at work. Oh yeah, I'm always fitting to cry. Oh yeah. I know exactly what that's about. Child, listen. The sisters can see what she's doing. Meanwhile, Carlos is saying to Tracy that she does that to make herself feel superior. So they're both having the same conversation at the same time in different rooms. Okay. Carlos talks about how he worried about Ivy being over the loss of her husband, and how for her it wasn't just a loss for her, it was also a loss for her daughter. So there was definitely a transition period, and it still kind of is, because the man is gone and this young girl lost her father and now he's being replaced by somebody else. That's going to be difficult no matter how you slice it. Tracy explains how people need to learn how to be responsible for their own triggers. And I felt like this was such an important thing to point out, because lately I've been hearing so much about triggers. This triggers me, that triggers me. I never really understood that whole thing. Things upset you. Things are uncomfortable. That does not mean you are allowed to go off like a gun and then say that someone pulled you and sent you to shoot someone else. That's what that sounds like to me. It takes the responsibility away from you for your own actions. Here's the thing. Adulting a lot of the times is learning how to control negative and irresponsible emotions. When you don't want to do anything, but you still have to. When you don't want to pay a bill, but you still have to. When you don't want to go to work, but you still have to. When you have to go to the doctor's office, when you have to pay insurance, all the things that we don't feel like fucking doing that we have to do anyway. Okay, so yes, and it's another thing that was going on Love and Marriage Huntsville, the trigger situation. Once you learn what your triggers are, you have to learn how to change your reaction to those triggers. And Tracy, suggested yoga, okay, meditation, something to help center your body and your mind, to help you think clearly and deal with your emotions in a more healthy way, instead of acting out and popping off the way he did when he was talking to the sisters, right? So Carlos needs to learn how to handle his hurt without allowing it to affect him negatively. Tracy tasked them with going dancing, but first Carlos tries to talk to Lori. And he says, you have been there for me. You've always been there for me. And I really do love you. And she says, of course you do. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck does that mean? And when he tries to hug her, she refuses to hug him. I was like, okay, it's time for her to go, because now she's really trying to play a victim, like somebody did something to her, talking about you want people to just move on without thinking about all the things in the past that you've done. Well, ma'am, that's what we're here to do. We're here to move forward. Carlos isn't asking you for anything. So until Carlos asks you for something again, calm down. And then when he does ask you for something, if you want to tell him no, then do that. But continuing to help him. And then when he actually is making those changes and acting like an adult, you refuse to see it, and you end up acting like a child and having a temper tantrum because he isn't showing up the way you want him to, so that you can feel superior and you can feel that you're the fixer. And honestly, I feel like it's why you don't like Ivy. It's why you don't like Stephanie. It's why you don't like Tatiana. It may be a lot of Black women that you encounter, because there is an inner stillness, an inner strength. And I hate to say strength, but I don't know how else to describe it. But there is a unmovableness, an unbotheredness. There is I am not going to allow you to control me, no matter how you feel about it. Like, them women, those Black women had that about themselves. And I feel like it ate her the fuck up, that no matter how she tried to gaslight them, she could not get the reaction from them that she wanted to get, which is why she ended up losing control and crying and leaving. Because if they had jumped bad with her, then she would have sat back and got quiet and been like, and see, this is what I, like, and then use that as an example for why, she feels however she feels, even though she was saying she didn't see color. So what you talking about? You telling on yourself. Yeah, I saw it for what it was. I was glad that she left. And when Carlos went to cry on Ivy's shoulder, I was like, I'm glad that that moment happened, because he needed to feel supported, but he also needed to let her go. He needed to let her go. So y'all, yeah, she has a problem with herself. It's very obvious. Like she feels a way about the fact that they possess some type of stillness that she doesn't. And you can tell, because you got to hold on to a dog, and you got to cry, and you got to try to turn it around and think, pull back 30, 40 years ago when you dated one black guy, and try to pull that out your ass and make that the validation for why you should be able to ignore the black women who are sitting in front of you telling you something is bothersome to them. You want to be able to ignore what they are saying and validate it by using other black people that you have come into contact with, who may not have had the strength or the energy to correct you every time you did something racist, because we often get very tired correcting y'all, because y'all do shit all the time. And sometimes y'all do it to get a reaction out of us. I have seen my white coworkers try to gaslight me into arguments, and I never understand why, but I've seen them do it. And then they get upset when you don't give them that. Yeah, the fact that her son stayed when she left said a lot. Okay, so her and her dog left, and everybody went dancing, had a really good time, and we was able to have the good time we was supposed to be having this entire time. Okay, they went and got married, y'all. They got married, they had their wedding, and she was not there, and nobody probably really cared. Okay, it was a good episode though, but it definitely turned out to be exactly what I thought it was going to be, even when I thought it wasn't. Anyway, let's see what y'all are saying. She mad because she realized that she could not control Ivy. Preach. She probably put that black man through hell. And I love how Ivy went into the room to try to talk to the sister, and she still was not receptive. Right. She went and told her. Ivy went and talked to her before she was leaving and was like, I just want to let you know that your brother has grown, and I'm okay with who he is. If that was your worry, I am okay with who he is. He is being a better person now. So can we just move forward from where we are? And she was like, yeah, there's no being ready for me. Because you want to have a problem. Because you want to be a victim. Because some of y'all are so comfortable in your victimhood. It's really astonishing. When Ivy moved that plate, I was like, yes, mama, teach her a lesson. Oh, no, that was him. She moved that plate to deal with his ass, okay? When they wanted to have, she wanted to control, yeah. When they had that conversation about the bachelorette party and how it didn't matter what it was, he just is worried about her cheating on him because he got cheated on for 5 years of his 8-year marriage. Experienced this too many times with white women. Child, I love how all the ladies handled the yes, with the calm that was required, but with the sternness that was needed. Okay. Yes, that is so true. And that's why she left the house, because she couldn't take it no more. Yeah, she liked having power, and not having it drove her crazy. Yes, absolutely. She acts like that so she can control how he behaves. He didn't follow suit, and she was upset. Yes. And then she was upset that she wasn't winning the sisters over when she was having that conversation. The fact that they were seeing through her, she was very bothered by that. I was in love with them when they was hugging. Yes. His sister really made no sense at all. She met her. Look, not even a match. Okay. I love Ivy. She gives mama vibes, which was a bit concerning for the dynamic, but I really like how firm and nurturing me too. And I feel like she is not going to allow him to take advantage. But I also feel like when Carlos said, I lived in my car, I don't want to go back to that, I feel like he meant that shit. I feel like he meant that. He also has a daughter, and that was what drew her to him. Also, his love for his daughter. He was living in his car for 6 months. Just because somebody get down on their luck doesn't mean that they're constantly down on their luck. He was married at one point, right? And just ended up going through a hard time because he went through a divorce. That does not mean that throughout his life he's been out here, begging his sister for money every time you turn around. And I feel like she was trying to make him out to seem like that type of person. She thought she was going to manipulate them smart black women with her words. She didn't realize that she ran up to the wrong ones. Okay. Those women are pouring into him. And the next time he speaks to his sister, he's going to be ready for her ass. Lori asks as if she is better than black women because she dates black men and is allowed in our space. Y'all, that's why we have such problems with interracial relationships. Not because we care, but because of the way y'all like make white women or other women feel about us. You know what I'm saying? Like they can step to us and assume our positions as black women. And it's like, no, you can assume a position as a white woman with a black man, but you cannot assume the position as a black person because you fucked a black man and had black kids or some shit. Like, stop doing that shit. That sister mad because she think Ivy has more control than she does. Where is her man? Child, that dog. You see that he loves his sister. Her leaving was selfish. Says a lot about her. It does. That stank face, that sister was big mad. Wasn't she though? Thank you, Mel Lee, for the super chat. I'm sorry, but what's the point of marrying a broke white man? Ooh, that's offensive. Thanks for the super chat. I mean, maybe because she loved him. You know what I'm saying? Maybe because he rocked her world. I don't know. Like, there are a whole bunch of reasons to marry somebody other than money. He was so hurt, but seeing him cry was him letting go of everything. Yes, that's what I felt, like the release, and I'm letting her go now. The friends peeped Lori as soon as they saw that dog. Yes, listen. One of them that let their cats on the counter when they cooking food for potluck at the job. Anyway, that was mad offensive. Whoa. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and move on from Family or Fiance to Ready to Love. You guys, listen. Woo, Ready to Love. Okay, it's a lot. Let me go ahead and pull up those notes. So this episode, they had a mixer. And Ticia arrived early because she wanted to ask the men why she was in the bottom. They didn't give any real reason because most of the men she was speaking to weren't the men who she actually had interactions with the previous week. But I just kind of felt like, Ticia, like, if you're in the bottom, don't ask them why. Retract. Like, a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Play it cool. Like, to me, if they put you in the bottom and you were having conversations, it's because you need to pull it back a tad bit. So pull it back. Don't ask no questions. Fuck them niggas. Be yourself. Continue to be yourself. Because at the end of the day, when people have a problem with you and they're asked and they don't want to communicate how you're coming off, then at the end of the day, that's not your problem anymore. I'm going to be myself. They're either going to like it or not. Ticia, girl, your man is not on this show. I don't believe that, but we'll wait and see. I don't believe your man on this show, girl. Anyway, hold up. Let me come back to my comments. She gives fake confidence. Yes, I didn't want to say that, but that's what it felt like. Because why would you even ask them? Like, as a woman, if I know I got it going on and these niggas trying to put me in a put me at the bottom. Next time I see y'all, hey, how y'all doing? All right. Okay, I'm interacting with everybody that I did not interact with that first time. For me. Anyway, moving on from there, y'all. So Aisha gets there. Still talking about how great she is. One of the men is going home this week, you guys. So the men have to, do some impressing. Tyrone is an introvert, and Aisha jokes about slurping down oysters, and it was just kind of like, whoa, a bit much. But she does have that Paula J. White mouth. You know what I'm saying? Just real big mouth. That's old girl down here next to the DC, the DC right here at the bottom. Aisha, the names are there. Thank you, Naturally Dope, for the super chat. Hey, Bondi, it's not much, but I want to show some love to you. You dropped some real good, relatable knowledge for this 42-year-old gal. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. But yes, y'all, Aisha was slurping up them oysters. She was like, she jokes about slurping up the oysters. I was like, oh, okay, you're making sexual jokes to Tyrone. Okay. So Carrington, she's definitely giving Alexis, y'all. Carrington is asking Carrie questions off of a checklist in his mind. She says it's interview-like, and that's a turnoff, okay? So what's your favorite date? So what's your favorite color? So what do you do for fun? So what's your favorite hobby? Like that type of thing. Instead of really trying to get to know somebody for who they are, like you're definitely going through a checklist, just like Corey does. Corey has a copy and paste format. He just doesn't take himself so seriously, so he'll say what he's doing because he doesn't see anything wrong with it. He's just saying, this is what I'm doing. Carrington, on the other hand, knows that he's not supposed to be copying and pasting his responses and interactions with these women, but he's doing the exact same thing. Ticia got to go home because she definitely living outside her femininity. Living outside her femininity. Child. Camille asked Walter his credit score. I mean, it's a bit early, but okay. Shiloh tells Dante that she can twerk. I said, okay. She's trying to let him know that she can twerk on the meat. Courtney is pursuing Cornelius, okay? And Cornelius says that Cornelius' love language is gifts. I said, Cornelius, your love language gifts? Really? Courtney said, well, I ain't about to buy you nothing, okay? But I'll show touch on you, okay? Because that's her love language. Touch. Okay? Anyway, so Corey asked Sabrina if there is another way that they can connect because he really wants to connect with Sabrina. And she says that she didn't really appreciate the type of approach that he has with the women. He has no game. He doesn't. He has no game, which is why he doesn't take himself that seriously because he knows that he shouldn't. Okay? He's a joke. I'm sorry, Corey. You're a joke. You're not to be taken seriously, and that's a good thing and a bad thing. Okay? But she did not appreciate his approach coming to her with that old sad sap who can play that game Morris Chestnut line. Do you find me attractive? The fuck? You know how good you gotta look to be able to walk up to somebody with some shit they didn't heard on a movie? Do you know how fine you gotta be? And you gotta know you that fine. Morris Chestnut knows he's that fine. Corey, you know you're not that fine. You fine, but you ain't Morris Chestnut fine. Everybody knows people who are Morris Chestnut fine. You ain't. None of you niggas are Morris Chestnut fine. So I'm really gonna need for none of y'all to step to somebody on that level, okay? Poking your dick out. Put it away. Anyway, so he doesn't why she doesn't like him. I said, because you don't know how to read a room. Mumin actually decides to go on a date with Corey. Okay, do you know why she started to like him? Because he changed her tire. And then they go for a picnic in the woods on a log. And they were talking when he gets behind her. And what does he do? Poke his meat in her backside. Yeah, that's what he did. She was like, oh, okay. And before he got down, she was like, I mean, it's cool, but that was only because she got her tire changed. I said, you girls need to get AAA and stop feeling like has done something so special by doing something that your daddy should have taught you how to do or that you can call AAA to do. This is why a lot of women don't allow men to do things for them. And y'all are always on some shit like, oh, women always want to be in control and you don't want a man to do nothing for you. It's because when y'all do stuff for us sometimes, it is so you can use it as a tool of manipulation. It's so you can use it to make yourself seem like a good guy when the truth of the matter is you're a dog ass fool. You're a clown. You're a clown. But because you did something nice, she will all of a sudden forget about how lame you are and how the truth of the matter is she wouldn't even be fucking talking to you for real if y'all wasn't on this show. She's going to forget all of that, throw all of that out the window because you have a nice smile. You're funny, you're lame, and you come off like you know you're lame. And there's a level of humility to that. Women love a man that's able to not take himself too seriously because it comes with a level of humility that a lot of egomaniacal, egotistical men don't really have. But that's also sometimes a gotcha. I'm pretending to be a good guy. I'm pretending to be a little lame and funny so that you will be unassuming. And then I'll get with you and dog you the fuck out. Just like any old other fuck boy. Okay? That's the vibe that he is giving. He actually asked for a kiss and then says that he will wait until she weeds out the other dudes. I said that was a trick as well. That was a trick as well. If you really wanted to kiss her, then why say, you're going to give me a kiss? And then when she says yes, after being slightly apprehensive, she was apprehensive and then she agreed. And he was like, nah, that's all right. I'm going to wait until you weed out them other guys. All lame manipulation tools and tactics. I don't know what what's your boy name? I don't know what Steve Harvey book he didn't read. But put it back on the shelf, nigga. Put it back on the shelf. So anyway, double date with Camille, Walter, Cornelius, and Courtney. Camille thinks that she can that she can shut down whatever Courtney and Cornelius may have going on. I was very annoyed by this, that she went on a date with Walter so that she can watch Cornelius and Courtney and try to shut down whatever they have going on. I didn't like that she did that. And this is another thing, y'all, why I don't like religion. Remember, I told y'all that people like to use religion as some type of superiority thing. The first thing she did when they sat down was try to present herself like she was going to out Jesus Courtney. Because I just want to say, being saved and my God and praying and all of this is so important to me. Like she was trying to because she thought Courtney was a fast tail, probably spiritual, but not religious type. So she thought she was going to show up and appeal to Cornelius' religious side. And Courtney came with oh yeah, I really believe in praying over my man. Oh yes, before he leaves, I'll pray and, for him to be safe and make sure he comes back. And girl, and killed you with that shit. You thought you was about to smash her with that. And then she gave you, oh no, I'm going to pray over my man. So y'all was what and what? You thought you was going to win, but no, okay? They discussed sex. Courtney and Walter agree that they're not waiting until marriage to have sex with someone. We're all grown and we need to know what it's about before we tie ourselves down to it. Okay. Nobody is about to deal with bad sex for the rest of their damn life if they can help it. Not this set of people. Okay. Camille says that, she goes through periods of no sex all the time, and she feels like you should wait. And I thought it was funny that Cornelius was like, yeah, you should wait. But if you have a slip up, Courtney was like, the fuck you mean if you have a slip up? And see, I don't like that, because what that tells to me is that you're going to fake and front like you're saved and sanctified and filled with the Holy Ghost, and then you're going to try to stick your fingers in somebody's vagina. And I just kind of feel, and then you're going to call it a mistake and then try to put some taboo negative energy on having sex as a grown person. And I don't like that. I don't like, because that's what I feel like. You know what I'm saying? Am I the only one that picked up on that? Cornelius and whatever wayward relationship he must have with sex in order for him to feel like, oh yeah, we should wait. But then, if I slip and fall in a store, then we'll just look at it as a mistake. No, I don't want to think about any of my sexual interactions with a person that I'm trying to form a relationship with as a mistake. That doesn't make any fucking sense. That's why I be talking about y'all be letting, religion be used. You know what I'm saying? Be used on some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you're not about to shame me or you with the blood of Jesus because you wanted to slip and fall into some coochie. I think not. Okay. And then you're going to call me a Jezebel. Yeah. And then blame me like I'm the one that turned you on or something like that. No, we not. No, we not. No, we not. Okay. Oh, no. I know there are a lot of people that are celibate or, withdraw from sex and all of that. But I promise y'all, that's not the standpoint that either one of them were coming from. Okay. Camille is coming from the standpoint of using her sex as a tool and a weapon. Camille is what she referred to herself as a black widow. She is somebody that probably lures people in with her sexuality and then doesn't fuck them until they can't take it anymore. And she might give them some or not and then drop them before they have an opportunity to drop her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's preemptive, but I think it's coming from a place of insecurity that she's masking as confidence. But I'll let it go for now because this is only the second episode. So Walter, there was a moment when Cornelius and Courtney was like, I have to be able to test it out. I have to be able to just touch. And she grabbed on Cornelius' thigh, and Camille was like, oh no, you did not. Oh no, you're not going to. And he was like, no, that's okay. And she was like, oh no, it's not. And it's like, oh girl, you are on a date with Walter. And Walter was like, well, what the fuck am I doing here? If she's upset about what's going on betwixt the two of y'all, who we on a double date with? The fuck? Child, I feel like Walter and Courtney should have went on a date together. But anyway, Zadia and Tyrone, y'all. Zadia and Tyrone go on a date. And this actually made me like Tyrone. She talks about how physical she is and how she builds, helps build people through physical exercise and, emotional stability and all that type of stuff. Like, she's very supportive, and she's all about self-improvement through the body and through, the mental and all of that. And Tyrone has anxiety and PTSD from being in combat. And he was, speaking freely about what that has been like for him. And she found his honesty admirable. And I said in my notes, he seems less lame in a way. And I feel like that's because a lot of men step onto these shows showing their lack of confidence all over them. And I feel like that's a lot of the times what women identify as lame. It's an eagerness to portray a certain energy, or a withdrawalness, you withdrawing, like not actually being enthralled or being present in the moment because of your own insecurities or how you think someone will perceive you. So when men act like that, I think women say it's lame, but that's only because we don't know how to fully explain, or we don't really know how to articulate what that looks like for us. And I think for me, the reason why I felt like he was less lame is because he was able to express himself in a way that showed he understood what his pitfalls were, but that they were not in control of him as a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can tell he has like a little anxiety, but in that moment, he was able to express that in a way that showed confidence in who he was. And that was attractive, which is why I said he was less lame. Okay. So moving on to Carrington and Aisha. Carrington and Aisha go on a date, and she ask him about what he does for a living. He says the club promoter. She's not comfortable with that. Club promoters are known to be cheaters and kind of be hoes. And she was already in a marriage with a cheater. So she is already PTSD, okay? Just like Carlos. She already kind of been traumatized by situations like that. So she's hypersensitive to men who may fall into that same category for her. She doesn't want to do that again. You know what I'm saying? So he says that he's never been a cheater because he's never really been in a relationship. That's a red flag. You're a grown ass man in your 30s. You've never been in a relationship. It's because you decided to categorize your relationships as non-relationships. There's no way you've gone through all of this time without kicking it, hanging out, having sex with a woman or a couple of women for an extended period of time. That is a relationship. It may not be a monogamous relationship. It may not be a long-term relationship, but it's still a form of a relationship. So when you tell me that you've never had one ever, that just tells me that you have in your mind categorized your interactions with women as interactions instead of relationships. And that's so that you don't have to be accountable or responsible for the way you treat them in those interactions. And he has a kid. So that doesn't even make sense. Okay. Red flags all over the place. Okay. So she tells him because her husband cheated, she had to get she and her kids some therapy. And I like that she said that, because I feel like that's what Mel and Martell and them need to do for their kids. Okay. But see, Martell doesn't want to be honest about what he's done, because it's cool to fuck over your wife, but it's terrible to have to admit to your children that the reason why their whole lives are not as comfortable as they once were is because you just decided to make bad decisions over and over and over and over and over again. And I feel like they need therapy to deal with that shit. And I'm glad that she said that that's something that they had to do, because people really people really act like these great betrayals to relationships. And when I say people have to be forgiven, this is not the type of shit that I be talking about. You long-term cheating on somebody for years and years and years. When the truth of the matter is, if you cheating on for that long, that consistent, you don't really want to be in a marriage, and you are holding that person hostage by keeping them thinking the circumstances are one way when they really aren't. You're lying to them. And it's really hurtful when the person realizes it. It's not even just about fucking somebody else. I think it's about thinking that everything was fine and finding out that the person you trusted could be this fucked up. Like, wow, all of that time I really was thinking it was all good, and you was like for years doing that to me. Y'all, that shit is incredible to really think about when you had no idea for a certain amount of time. And there's always, to me, a time period where you really kind of were oblivious when people are living double lives like that. Because they're really good at, moving and making sure that one part is not feeling the loss at first. You know what I'm saying? Until it's out of their control and, it's kind of ballooned and you can't help but to see what's happening because they're now in a fully formed fucking relationship with their side piece. Like you can't downplay that. You can downplay fucking people in affairs, but you cannot. And what I mean by that is like casual things. You can't downplay giving yourself to somebody because the person that you're supposed to be fully giving yourself to is going to feel the loss of that. Women pick it up. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so ultimately she thinks Carrington is too young for her. And what that means is he's too immature. So Dante, Naeem, Zadia, Tasia, and Shiloh all go on a group date. And they talk about the type of people that they like. And Tasia likes a smart man because a smart man can figure everything out. I don't know why she's giving me, I want a man to lead. I want to be ruled and controlled by a man, even though that's not what my life really is like. I don't know why it's like fake femininity. It's like, it doesn't come off as real because it's like, girl, that's probably not what your life is, but I get it. If that's the life you want, you have to present that. So I get it. But there's a portion of it that feels like it's disingenuous. But anyway, Shiloh likes affection. And so when she's talking about like her intimacy, courses, because y'all know she's like a sex therapist, she really gets into intimate, sensual energy, and she can take her man to the next level. And touching is her love language. And Naeem made sure to touch her to let her know that he was interested. And she and I both appreciated that because it says a lot. First of all, it says he was listening. Second of all, it says that he was interested and willing to show that to her in the way that she wanted to be shown that someone is interested. All of that is good signs. I'm looking at Naeem like, okay, Naeem, my eye is on you, brother. We gonna see where this goes. Because, we don't want you to be a hotel. We don't want you to be fake. We don't want you to be fake. That's what we're saying. We don't want you to be fake. Because sometimes it feel like y'all be out here acting like y'all super duper pro black, but y'all be fake. Just saying. Anyway. So they talk about their best sexual experiences, I think, and Tasia doesn't want to share. She's like, whatever happened that's between me and that person, it's just like, oh, okay, girl, all right. Thanks for not sharing, but also wanting to take up a lot of the energy. The women meet later on, and Aisha actually got into a car accident and Phil went to meet her. And at this point, I'm starting to feel like you men have done something to these women's cars so that y'all can keep coming to the rescue. Cornelius has connected with Camille, Carrie, and Tasia. Okay, Camille is upset by that. I don't know why. It's only been a couple of days. Please try to find another man that you are interested in as well. You are trying to lock yourself down to a man you do not know way too soon. That is a problem for women. I thought you were the Black Widow. I thought you were going to come on here and make these men get obsessed with you, and you're doing the exact opposite. Like all of my excitement out the fucking window. So Sabrina says that she's into Walter and she likes Tyrone. Zadia says Tyrone is a really great conversationalist. And to me, like that's what I meant. Like the comfortability and the confidence in the conversation matters. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I feel like he came off differently on video than he did in like the confessionals and in his pictures. I feel like when I saw him talking in a conversational way, I could see the attractiveness about Tyrone. You know what I'm saying? Whereas I feel like initially you're seeing the shoulders up here and what seems to be some type of like boundary. Like that's what I was picking up on. And the more he talks, the less you see that boundary. So Carrie says that Tyrone called her and said that he didn't feel like he has a connection with her. She says he was very cold and it was out of nowhere and it really made her feel away. Shiloh says that Tyrone called her right after and said that he felt bad about the way he talked to her, but that he could not figure out a way to tell her in the same way he told Shiloh that he can't manage 3 women at one time. And see, that's what I was talking about. There had to be something. There had to be something where you showcased your inability to handle yourself in a way that shows confidence. Y'all know what I'm saying? Am I saying it wrong, y'all? But I just kind of feel like that's what I was talking about. To me, there was a I don't want to say a weakness, but there was definitely like an insecurity in that you could not communicate to Carrie in a way that didn't leave her feeling like shit. You know what I'm saying? Just because you didn't know how to handle yourself in that moment. But either way, Carrie was really feeling him, so that hurt her feelings. Shiloh likes Dante. Mumin likes Corey. And Zadia says that Corey makes no sense to her. None at all. Carrington is politicking, and they feel like, once again, he's checking questions off of a checklist in his mind. Courtney says that she knows him. She's known Carrington for 5 years, and he's a good guy. Really? You didn't notice all that passive aggressiveness and bitch assness seeping up out of him? I need to understand, Courtney. Why is there always a little twosome of a man and a woman on this show that have been friends and know each other, but for some reason have never dated? Like, what is that about? Anyway, Sabrina says that when she talked to Carrington, she asked him how would the age difference affect the relationship, and he got snippy with her and said that he wasn't going to go back and forth about it, take it or leave it. And that's what I mean. You must feel insecure about being mature. You must feel insecure about being young-minded or being young or knowing that you're not fully the, capable, secure man that you could be, especially for some of these women that come off very secure and know who they are. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you must have felt some type of insecurity, which is why you lashed out and were short and, low-key kind of disrespectful with her and dismissive. Like, oh, I'm going to get an attitude with you and be like, fuck your feelings because I feel a way about you questioning the age difference. That was really immature. And to me, it showed how he's out of control of his emotions, which made me want to go and talk to Courtney. Like, Courtney, what are you talking about? Carrington is a great, what? What does that mean? Or have you only seen his representative? Seems that way. Ticia meets with Corey. Y'all know this the last 2 people. We got to let them know if they going home or not. So Corey hugs her, puts his hands on the crack of her ass, just doing the wrong shit off rip. Then he says, only with your permission. And she says, you don't have my permission. And then he removes his hands. But he did not ask for permission before he did it. Talking about her dress meant that he had to lay hands on her. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. We really want y'all to stop thinking that shit is cute. To say that how a woman dresses means that you get to reach your hands out away from your body and touch her without her permission, or if she does not want you to, you still get to do that because she looks so good. No. Please stop perpetuating rape culture. That's exactly what that is. Stop doing that. That shit really annoyed me that he felt the need to fucking vocalize that her tight dress meant that he should be able to touch her. No, it doesn't. That's not what it means. That is not what it means. It kills me that men walk around acting like women are the problem and we're falling short in some way. But you can walk around freely without somebody feeling like they can assault you, grab you, choke you, try to kill you, assault you on a fucking train. Like, things are happening to women all the time that show that y'all are not in fear of us. We're the ones in fear of you. And somehow there's a narrative in a manosphere that women are the problem. We don't even do anything to y'all. Y'all do everything to us. Like, I'm sorry. Yeah, there are definitely 2-sided relationships, don't get me wrong. But when I'm talking about the fear that women have of men on a physical basis, like we have to worry about protecting our bodies from y'all, like in every way, shape. If you know what I'm saying, like in the law, we have to fight to protect our bodies from y'all. On the streets, we have to fight to protect our bodies from y'all. Sometimes in our relationships and in our households, we have to protect our bodies from people, whether they're trying to impregnate us when we don't want to be pregnant, trying to make us have sex when we don't want to have sex, trying to make us do things sex-wise that we don't want to do in order to fit into some box they want us to fit into. Like at the end of the day, women are constantly having to protect ourselves from men. And it is so bothersome to me that they can make jokes about things that promote rape culture, like telling a woman that her dress meant that you can touch her. Like, no. Corey is definitely comedy relief. I wish something funny was happening. I wish something funny was happening. I'm sorry. I'm sure he is just a plug. I'm sure he is just a producer plug on the show, y'all. But I'm sorry, that shit not funny to me. That shit not something I'm about to, oh, ha, 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 ha. No, we're not. We're not doing that. She tells him that he needs to get it together because he's coming off as sketchy, but he's not going home. So let's move on to Camille meeting with Carrington. See, this is when I realized hold up, what you said, Bondi, it's funny how you were talking about this. My coworker and I just had a debate about sexual harassment. He said the men have it worse because we always call sexual harassment when it's not. But not we have it worse because y'all don't want to stop touching us. Like, what? Y'all, that is so crazy. That is so crazy. Not y'all doing shit y'all shouldn't be doing is the problem, but us telling y'all doing shit y'all shouldn't be doing is the problem. I cannot. That is sick. I'm done. Camille says that there was a consensus. This is when you realize that a lot of the times when they meet up with these men to tell them if they're going home, they don't know. They think they're going on a regular date. So she felt that there was a wall up, and he's been kind of interviewing the ladies. And he asked if this is a date or a therapy session. Condescending as fuck. Camille says that the women felt that he was very calculated. He says, well, I answered your questions. Most of them can't carry a conversation. So now all of the other women are the problem. That's 2 times where he didn't got snippy. So first you are asking her whether it's a therapy session because she can't have a conversation about the way you come off without you feeling defensive. And then we can't talk about how the women feel about the way you question them without you turning around and ridiculing the women, saying that they can't carry a conversation. He's trying to move the conversation on to he and Camille so they can stop talking about the way the other women perceive him. But when she tells him he's not ready to love, he puts his hand, down into his, chest and does this little laughing thing. And that's why he was on. That's why, because this is the crazy nigga thing right here. This is that. This is I'm crazy. That's what this is. This is I'm gonna laugh and make it seem as if this is just so funny when really you're embarrassed. Really, you're embarrassed. And you should feel embarrassed because you embarrassed yourself. You played yourself. Sorry, buddy. That's what you did. He went home, just got up and walked away. Thank you. We appreciate you not making this hard. It's so hard. Okay. So we're going to move on to Love and Marriage Huntsville. And y'all know how this goes. I'm going to give y'all a little tidbit of it. And then we're going to move on for me, my members, and my Patreons. So I'm going to need for y'all to like the video while I go and create that link. Thank you. Won't be my what? Okay. Y'all, I have got to hurry up and get my ass offline because we are interviewing Kimmy today. You guys, we are interviewing Kimmy today on Jaylee's Corner. So y'all make sure that y'all show up for us. So I have to get a move on because we're starting that right at 4. So let me hurry up and get through this so we can go ahead and move on to Love and Marriage Huntsville with everybody, okay? Because y'all, I know I'm late today. I was hungover. To tell y'all the truth, I was hungover. So right now I'm gonna put it in the Discord, and then after that I'll put it everywhere else. Where is my general folder? Okay, general file. Okay, so I've put it in the Discord for everybody, members, Patreons, y'all know. All right, so Love and Marriage Huntsville. Let's go ahead and start it off. So it started off with the last episode left off, which is with Tisha in therapy discussing how Marsau wants her to depend on him. And I love how Dr. Francis pointed out to her that the reason why Marsau wants her to depend on him so heavily is so that he can lull the feeling of, or the fear, he can lull the fear of Tisha possibly leaving him. That's why he's always saying divorce is not an option. I'm starting to feel like it's because I'm starting to feel like it's because, like Dr. Francis said, he might have his own fears that Tisha may leave him. He acts as if that doesn't bother him, like it's never going to happen, but it's a possibility, especially if she, gets any strength about herself, if she gets any real confidence about herself, then she may feel as if she can do better. She may want to go and find that better. She may want happiness instead of constant sacrifice, the way Marsau seems to think life is supposed to go. So there's a definite possibility that she will leave him. And that could possibly really be a fear for him. So it's easier for him to put her at a disadvantage, which makes it harder for her to leave him. Okay. And then Dr. Francis asked her, well, what does Marsau depend on you for? And she says, I don't know, maybe sexual needs. And, it was sad because it's like, y'all aren't even having sex like that. And you don't even know what your husband really depends on you for. That means you don't feel of value to him. And that's really sad. Dr. Francis says that she's an amazing person. First of all, validated her more so than her fucking husband does. But because I feel like his validation is manipulation. And, we'll talk about that when we move on. But I feel like when he was validating her, Marsau was validating her while at the same time trying to control how she sees herself. And Dr. Francis wants Tisha to see herself as a person instead of always seeing herself as just a wife or a mother. And see, Marsau doesn't want Tisha to see herself as a person. He doesn't want her to start to see herself as more than just his wife, because he's not comfortable with that, because that makes him feel less than a man. And that's because he's insecure, which makes me think back to when he told Louis, and Louis told his wife, and his wife told Tisha that she felt insecure in herself, which made her feel insecure in him. And it's like, no, y'all are both insecure. And Marsau, you're insecure as well. You are insecure as well, which is why you want to keep Tisha insecure, because anytime Tisha is getting any self-growth about herself, you find a way to contradict that. You find a way to create some doubt within her. So it's just enough doubt to keep her from fully gaining some confidence about herself. Because if she were to gain full confidence in herself and see herself as the strong, capable woman that she is, then she may decide that she deserves better than you. I think Marsau is a posturing type of person, meaning that even though they are very much intent on being the type of person they say they are, a lot of where it's coming from is a space of feeling like they have to fake it to make it instead of really being in it in a real way, being present. And that's a problem. That's a real problem. Marsau low-key thinks Tisha is insecure. He likes that Tisha is insecure. He keeps her that way. Yes. He gets nervous and cuts her off at the knees. Yes. Carrington's fake behind needed to go home. Absolutely. I would have chose Corey over Carrington in that situation, but Corey probably needs to go home next week. I really have to go back and watch this foolishness thoroughly. You should. You really, really should. After 15 years, you don't know what your husband needs you. After 15 years, you don't know what your husband needs you for. Hella problematic. Yeah, it is. It really is. And that says a lot about the both of them. Marceau makes Tisha feel worthless. That's not healthy. It's not. Marceau's validation was on bullshit. It absolutely was. Even the way he worded it. You know what I'm saying? Calling her a good wife, but a great mom. Calling her a good friend, but a great daughter. Like, he was being very intentional about the words he was saying on purpose. Just like when she expressed what the doctor said to her to him, and he turns around and says that, well, part of that is true and part of that isn't true, because it's okay for you to let go of the person that you thought you were going to be and just be the mom, wife, and entrepreneur that you are today. And see, he really loves to conflate things. He loves to bring together things that make sense for everybody to validate his bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you bring in a fact to validate something that's truly a lie. So, for instance, people absolutely need to let go of any sadness or negativity they may feel about their life not turning out the way they thought it would be. Because I think most of us growing up had a picture or some dream for our lives that we may not have been able to accomplish or even come close to accomplishing. Okay. But that doesn't mean that you don't create new dreams and new things that you want to go after and pursue and that you do accomplish, right? So of course, there's nothing wrong with when you become an adult and you look back on your life and realize that, okay, it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but I still love where I am. I totally get that. So he was right about that, but he's wrong by telling her that she doesn't need to want to be the person she used to be. She should be who she is now. No, nigga, you don't get to tell her who she should be. That's the problem. The problem is you think you can tell her who she should be, and you don't have a right to do that. That's the problem. Tisha needs to figure out who she is and what she wants from her own mind, and not from you trying to take the information she tells you she's learned about herself and flip it around in some type of way to change it so it can fit your narrative. And then it'll also make her insecure about what she felt so strongly about before she came to you with it. It's what we mean when we say you were constantly chopping her down at the knees. You won't even let that lady feel how she feels about her fucking self. You won't even let her feel how she feels about herself without trying to correct her. You can't correct somebody on how they should see their own fucking life. I don't care that she's your wife. You cannot tell Tisha how she should look at her life and what she should be happy about in her life. Not really. If Tisha wants to change anything in her life right now, even as a mother, even as a wife, she is entitled to do that. And she is absolutely supposed to put herself first, y'all. I'm sorry. I want y'all to understand that Tisha is supposed to put her own well-being and happiness above everybody else's, because if Tisha is not happy, if Tisha is not in a good place, she's not giving anything positive to the people that she loves. If you are not full, you can't pour into somebody else's cup from your empty one. You see what I'm saying? That's why she's so unhappy in her relationship. Can you imagine what that's teaching her daughters? That you don't have to be happy. You just have to constantly be making fucking sacrifices and making shit look good and buying stuff. As long as it look good, that's all that matters. It can be totally fucked up on the inside. You can be so unhappy, but as long as you look good, that's all that matters. That is a toxic thing to teach your daughters. And I feel like that's what Wanda taught Tisha, which is why Tisha's love language is gifts. Because Tisha only cares about what things look like and not what they feel like and not what they are, which is why she's able to deal with so much emotional abuse and just keep swallowing it, because that's what she was raised to do. She was raised to ignore her feelings as long as shit looked good. It's sad. It's sad. I hope, y'all, I think we all look at Tisha and see how beautiful she is and really hope that one day, even if she decides to stay with Marceau for the rest of her fucking life, that she gains some autonomy and strength in that relationship so he can no longer turn her identity around on her to use against her, like I feel like he tends to do. Okay. Right. It shows up in her exchanges with Kimmy. She always feels the need to stand up for herself to everyone else except for Marceau. Yes. Prioritize yourself first. To call in the energy needed for everything else. Absolutely. The chat jumped to Love Marriage Hunter before we finish with this. Yep. I mean, toxic and generational. Marceau have Tisha feel that her worth is in him and him only, and her attachment to him. Tisha gonna be on Snap one day. Tisha isn't ready. She's happy. She's in therapy. That is exactly what Wanda and her family taught her. Marcel reminds her of that Marcel reminds her of that every day. When she told Dr. Francis that her husband said she was too independent and he needed her to focus on him, I knew she would never be who she really is married. I knew she would never be who she really is married to him. Yeah. Because he won't allow it. He won't allow her to be who she is. That's not. And I'm sorry, Marceau. You may think you love Tisha. You love Tisha, but you don't love Tisha as her own person. You love Tisha as an appendage of yourself. And that's not okay. I grew up in that environment. My mom had low self-esteem and cared about appearance heavily. It took a lot of therapy for me to learn to love myself. Forget how we feel about Tisha. Tisha needs to learn how to love Tisha, and she'll be no good for life. This is very true. Well, anyway, y'all, let me go ahead and go so I can switch over to my members and my Patreons. Don't forget to come and see us on Jay Lee's Corner at 4 p.m. Central Time, which is in an hour. So let me go ahead and move along. I love y'all. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out.